The city of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine has been engulfed in heavy fighting for months. The struggle has cost a lot of manpower and resources to the Ukrainian and Russian troops. With a pre-war population of 70,000 dwindling to around 4,000, there wasn't much left to fight for. But the fight continues. Ukraine has repeatedly ignored Western calls for a tactical retreat from Bakhmut amid defeats, opting instead to keep fighting. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky earlier said in March Bakhmut's release will open the way for Russia to other cities in Ukraine towards Donetsk. While the city's strategic value may be limited, most analysts agree that its capture would not dramatically change the course of the war. It was seen as critical to troop morale. His capture would represent a long-sought success for Russian forces, the first significant gain since capturing the eastern city of Soledar in mid-January. Video footage shows the 59th Separate Motorized Infantry Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine destroying 4 Russian invaders' armored vehicles, including 2 tanks. 4 damaged and destroyed invaders' equipment units stood by the completely destroyed forest path. A Ukrainian kamikaze drone crashes into one of the collapsed tanks. It started to smoke slowly and then exploded with great force. Apparently, the tank shell itself was blown up. Now it makes no sense for the invaders to evacuate it, because it is definitely irreparable. The 59th Brigade fought near Avdiivka, north of Donetsk. Russian forces have meanwhile continued to attack residential areas in Ukraine, local officials said. Russia shelled a residential quarter of the southern city of Kherson, killing 1 person. The head of the regional military administration, Oleksandr Prokudin, said on April 27. Since the start of its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Russia has denied targeting civilians, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. In the Donetsk region, heavy fighting continues on the Bakhmut-Avdiivka-Mariinka front. The General Staff of Ukraine said in its daily update on April 27. Yevgeny Prigozhin, the Kremlin-linked businessman who controls the notorious Wagner mercenary group that spearheaded Russia's attack on Bakhmut, said on April 26 that Kyiv would most likely launch its counteroffensive, which he called inevitable, as early as next month. The Ukrainian side has yet to comment on Prigozhin's remarks. Over the past 24 hours, the Defense Forces Air Force carried out 5 raids on the concentration of manpower and military equipment of the Russian occupiers, and 1 more on the enemy's anti-aircraft missile complex. Among other things, the spokesman for the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Andriy Kovalev, told this in today's report, which was published on the official page of the social network Facebook. Meanwhile, the artillery of the Atom Tactical Group of the Armed Forces of Ukraine destroyed the field ammunition depots of the invaders due to the correction of the Air Reconnaissance Group Angel of the 128th Territorial Defense Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. And the drones of the Bryansk Battalion of the TRO of the Armed Forces of Ukraine also discovered the interventionists' field ammunition depots and self-destructed by accurately dropping incendiary grenades. News broke recently that Russia's defense ministry has claimed that its forces have captured 4 blocks in northwestern, western, and southwest Bakhmut, reported Russia's state-run news agency RIA. On the other hand, the head of Russia's Wagner mercenary group said on Thursday it was suspending artillery fire on Bakhmut to allow Ukrainian troops on the other side of the front line to safely show the town to visiting U.S. journalists. Wagner has led the Russian assault on Bakhmut in the war's longest and bloodiest battle, but Ukrainian forces have so far thwarted his attempts to take full control of the city. Yevgeny Prigozhin, founder of Wagner, said in an audio message published by his press service, a decision has been taken to suspend artillery fire so that American journalists can film Bakhmut safely and go home. The day before, Prigozhin criticized the defense ministry for not sending out a shipment of much-needed ammunition to its fighters. Ukraine also showed video of its armed forces destroying a Russian invader tank, well camouflaged under trees in a forest roadside path, with an American high-precision 155mm M982 Excalibur projectile. It is necessary to pay tribute to the operator, who found the fat target, clearly defined its geodetic coordinates, transferred them to the gunner, and recorded the perfect result. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported on April 27 that Russia had lost 188,920 troops in Ukraine since the start of its full-scale invasion on February 24 last year. This number includes the 510 casualties suffered by Russian forces over the past few days. In the last 24 hours, Russian attacks were reported in 9 Ukrainian oblasts. Russia attacked a total of 147 settlements using mortars, small arms, tanks, artillery, multiple launch rocket systems, MLRS, anti-aircraft missile systems, drones, cruise missiles, and tactical aviation, said the media center of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine on April 27. According to the report, 94 infrastructure facilities have been affected. A Russian BMP-1AM Besermanin infantry fighting vehicle parked next to a building in Luhansk Oblast was destroyed by Ukrainian troops. Meanwhile, perhaps one piece of good news for Russia, as the Donbas offensive appears to have stalled, is that Moscow appears to be seeing a reduction in fighting casualties, according to the UK Ministry of Defense. The Mode, citing Ukrainian figures, pointed out that Russia's more defensive stance on a large part of the front in and around Bakhmut is a possible reason why its fewer soldiers have been killed and wounded. The Ukrainian Air Force released a video of one of the new Patriot air defense systems. This 2 minutes 30-second video gives a great look inside and outside of one of the systems, which is on duty somewhere in Ukraine. 2 systems, one donated by the US and a combination of German and Dutch components, arrived in Ukraine last week.